Alright, welcome to week 5. I'd like to dedicate this stream to my twin sister and my new niece. My twin sister just had her third kid. I'm already the uncle to 2 nephews, but now I am an uncle to a niece as of about 2 hours ago. So, good news on the family front, but we got week 5 ahead of us, college football. Had a good week last week. I do want to point out a couple changes I'm making this week. Like I said, there's that third stat in there that just hasn't updated yet. It's still in the preseason mode, and I had to throw it out this week. I'm sorry. I just didn't want to keep leaving it in there, so I threw it out and I replaced it with the stat I had originally removed before the season. So that way, it's not like a very slimmed down model, but I just replaced that stat with the stat I took out at the beginning of the year. So let's see how this approach will work with the swapped out stats. But that's the change I made. Keys are going to stay the same. Another change I'm making this week is, I've never had 3 straight winning weeks to start the year before. Even with models, I felt a lot more confident about. So that's a first for me. So I am going to up my unit sizes this week. Not go all the way, but I'm going to up them. So keep that in mind. Let's see. So last week, the big one was Kansas State plus 1,400. That was my biggest money line hit in 3 years. It was a throwaway bet, but it was definitely a big one. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, the only reason you had a good week was because of that. If you took that out, you didn't. Well, that's the thing. You can't look at it at a game-by-game basis. You have to look at the whole, all parts of the whole. So as a whole, I won 0.89 units at a unit size of 0.2. That was about a plus 4.5 unit profit week, right? So you can't look at it like that. I could just as easily as say, if TCU played their quarterback from the get-go instead of putting him in the third quarter, they would have won the game, and those 2 bets would have. You can't play the what-if game. You just have to take it for what it is, right? So anyway, those are some housekeeping things, and let's get on to the plays. By the way, I fixed my streaming thing, so if it's not working, let me know. So I'm going to run the model. We can get started. We got 28 games this week. Maybe I should have done the housekeeping things while this was running, but oh well. As far as just looking at the list of games this week, Auburn, Georgia is obviously the big one on there. I think Texas A&M and Alabama would have been a bigger game had A&M not looked terrible in their game last week. But that's the thing. That's one thing we've noticed. A lot of teams are looking bad in their first game. Kansas State losing their first game at home to Arkansas State and then going and beating Oklahoma. Iowa State losing their first game to Louisiana Lafayette and then going to beat TCU. A lot of teams, even a team like SMU that, struggle with Texas State to start off with. And so a lot of these teams seem to, it takes a game to get going. And that's, I played for a coach that loved to play a body bag game in week 1 and still does and couldn't this year because of the COVID and everything. There's a reason for that. It's because there's a lot of things you just can't get prepared for in practice. You actually have to play a game to actually work out those kinks. So a lot of these teams like to play body bag games to get those kinks worked out before they actually play some real competition. And so you're seeing that the lack of a body bag game is really hurting. And it's taken a while, but oh well, it'll be done when it's done. By the way, like I said, I changed my stream, so I hope it looks black on here with a bunch of white dots. So if that's the case, yeah. Model screen isn't working. Has it worked at all? Yeah, it looks like I can see my mouse and my and like the arrow. So I think it's just because it's loading. So yeah, there we go. Now you guys can see it, right? All right. Yeah, it was like that because it was running the model. Still calculating. Maybe I should have this run. the whole kind of gimmick of the live stream is so you guys actually see the model run in real time. I could easily have it done and run by the time I start the stream. Okay, there we go. It's done. All right, so I'm going to move over to the indicators, make sure you guys can see it before I start. Yeah, we're at Having some technical difficulties. And for that, I apologize. Okay, there we go. Okay, Louisiana Tech and BYU, first game. We got a double play here. Louisiana Tech plus 24.5 and the money. I think 24.5 is way too much respect for BYU. I know they beat Troy really bad last week, but too much respect in my opinion. Both Louisiana Tech plus 24.5 and money line is a play this week. South Florida and Cincinnati. Gosh, what is with these technical difficulties? All right, South Florida and Cincinnati. We got no play on this game. Projecting Cincinnati by about 20 to 25. The spread's 22, so there's really no value in there. South Carolina and Florida. We got Florida minus 18, and the play is no play. It has Florida by about 17, so at 18, there's really no value there. So no play on South Carolina and Florida. Man. I'll have to fix this next week. I apologize. East Carolina, Georgia State, no play again. Even Stevens, like the model says Georgia State by 1, and the spread is 1. So no play on this game. North Carolina and Boston College. North Carolina minus 14 on the road. No play on this game. We got North Carolina by about 10 on the blender, by about 13 on the ATM. So combined about a 12-point edge for North Carolina. So just not a lot of value there. Virginia Tech and Duke. We got Virginia Tech 10.5-point favorite on the road. No play. Again, it looks like sharp lines this week. The blender has Virginia Tech by 6, the ATM by 12. So combine that all together, it's 10, right on the money. So lines are pretty sharp this week. Missouri and Tennessee, no play here either. Blender has Tennessee by 4, ATM by 10, so combined about a touchdown favorite. Missouri meets 3 of the 4 keys, but Tennessee has the penny, so no play. Oh, we got a play here. Baylor on the money line minus 150 at West Virginia. I don't like it. They did look okay against Kansas, but I don't like it. Says Baylor by about a touchdown, so there's value there according to the model, but Baylor on the money line minus 150. I really apologize for these technical difficulties, guys. I thought I had got it fixed. Virginia and Clemson, rematch of the ACC title game. Has no play on this game. Says Clemson by about 26 to 28, so a razor sharp line here, guys. 41-14 projected final score, 42-14, so no value there. NC State and Pittsburgh, we got a spread play on Pitt here. It has Pitt by about 18 to 19 points, and at minus 14, they're a good play. So Pitt minus 14 is a play. Oklahoma and Iowa State. Blender has Oklahoma by 17, but the ATM only has them by 11. Combine that, it's a 14-point favorite, so why aren't they a play? They don't have the penny. Iowa State has a penny, so no play, even though the metrics do point towards Oklahoma here. Memphis and SMU, we got to play on the Memphis money line at minus 135 on the road. Tough one. I don't know if I like it or not, but you're going to have to go with the model. I'm not really sold on either of these teams yet, so this will be kind of a wake-up call for both teams when they're finally playing some real competition, aka each other. Tulsa and Central Florida, UCF if you want to call them that. Razor sharp line again. Model says by 21, spreads 21.5. So sorry, no play here. Arkansas State and Coastal Carolina. We have a play on Arkansas State here on both against the spread minus 3.5 and minus 155 on the money line. They meet all the keys. So a double play on Arkansas State. Navy and Air Force. Man, I don't know what to think about this one. So you got Navy, who's played 2 games and looked really bad. And then you have Air Force, who hasn't played at all yet. And they are at home a 7-point dog. According to the model, Air Force is an outright winner here. But if you take the whole theory that the first game, Navy has 2 games under their belt, Air Force has none, it kind of makes things different. Take the points, guys. Take the points. Air Force, spread, and money line play. Texas Tech and Kansas State. I was surprised to see K-State is only a 2.5-point favorite here, considering how bad Texas Tech looked against Houston Baptist, but they almost beat Texas, and then Kansas State with their road upset at Oklahoma. You know, what's the deal? My model says K-State's a double-digit favorite here, so at 2.5, I have no idea what the deal with that is. Double play on Kansas State. Oklahoma State and Kansas. We got Oklahoma State minus 21.5 on the road. No play here. It says they're going to win by about 23-25, but they don't have the penny on their side, so no play on either. Texas San Antonio UAB. UAB is a 20.5-point favorite, projected by about 19, so no value there on this game. TCU and Texas, no play here. Model says Texas by about 13. Spread is 11.5, just not enough value here. As a resident TCU expert, I do believe if we had played Max Duggan the entire game against Iowa State, we would have won instead of just the second half. A&M and Alabama. Alabama has 3 of the 4 keys, but not the penny, which A&M has. So even though it has Alabama by 21-25, they are not a play at minus 18 because they don't have the penny. Ole Miss and Kentucky, we got a double play here on Ole Miss on line and money line. Only has Kentucky by about 2-3, so at 6.5, there's value on Ole Miss. Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee is a 7-point home dog. They've looked terrible this year in their games. They almost beat whoever they played last week, UTSA, but my model's again playing them on the money line. I don't know what my model sees in them, but at plus 235, they're a play at home. UNC Charlotte and Florida Atlantic. We got a double play on Florida Atlantic. Hopefully this game doesn't get canceled this week. It seems like these two teams have been caught in cancellations, but it has Florida Atlantic by a 20-point favorite, but you know that had a lot of last year's being factored in there, so 6.5 sounds about right. But let's play Florida Atlantic while the model says to. Georgia Southern and UL Monroe. Man, this is really bad. This is embarrassing. Like, I tested it all out before I started the stream, and I don't know if it's like my graphics card can't keep up or what, but it was working perfectly fine last week and the week before. All right, Georgia Southern and UL Monroe. We got a double play on UL Monroe. They've looked really bad this year. Got blown out at home by Texas State, but for some reason my model thinks plus 20. That makes sense, but plus 900, I don't know. They have looked completely lifeless this year. I mean, when you get blown out at home by UTEP, how bad are you? Okay, the game of the week, Auburn and Georgia. No play on this one. Has Georgia by about 2-5, so spread 6.5. They only have the penny in their favor, though. Auburn does not have the penny, and they don't have the ATM, so neither team meets 3 keys, let alone 4. Lsu and Vanderbilt has LSU by about 24, but they only meet 1 key, which is the blender. Vanderbilt meets the ATM cover percent key, but each team only meets 1 key, so no play on either. Not a lot of plays this week, guys. Arkansas and Mississippi State. So the big winner last week, Mississippi State at home minus 18 favorites, but only 1 key is met by both teams, so no play on either of these. The projected margin of 18 is right in line with the line. Southern Miss and North Texas, we have a play on the North Texas money line here at minus 120. Has North Texas by about 3-4. They don't meet the penny, though, so they only meet 3 of the 4 spread keys, so just a money line play here. And that is it. So let's go ahead and run the plays for this week. All right, so more plays than I thought. We got 8 plays against the spread, and then we got 11 money line plays. So just not a lot of plays compared to last week. Let me make sure it pops up on the stream first. Yeah, I don't know what all that's about. I'm going to have to figure something out. Okay, here we go. So we got, like I said, here are the plays this week. I'm going to fill in the units. So I'm just going to double what I've been doing, go from 0.2 to 0.4. And then here, 0.4, 0.55, 0.5, 0.55, 0.4, 0.5, 0.4, 0.4, 0.9, 0.4, 0.45. And there we go, 6.9 units risk this week. So that's the, let me let it come up. Yeah, I really apologize for the but here are the plays. I'll post this on Twitter at WCLEISS. And I'm going to end this abortion of a stream now. It'll be better next week. Let's hope the plays come through this week, though. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll get this all fixed next week. Just check my Twitter for the list of plays if you can't see this.